got those 20s. I could see that he liked that. Then I said, I started offering him things. I was trying to help that man have a successful robbery, truly.
Bob Christ has lived a very interesting life, and currently he's writing his autobiography. And I was able to interview him, and I got a few of his stories here on video that I want to share with you now.
I was in graduate school at the University of Oregon in Eugene, and I was working at the West 6th Avenue Market in Eugene, just a little mom and pop grocery store. And it was 8:45 at night. I was sitting behind the counter looking at a magazine. There was no one in the store. A little bell rang, which alerted me to the fact that the door had opened and somebody was entering the store. So I looked up from my magazine off to my right, and sure enough, a short man stepped inside the door. And I waited just a second to see if he was going to ask me where the eggs were or where's the milk or something. But he didn't. He was just looking around, and I just went back to looking at my magazine while he did his shopping. The next thing I know, he stepped up to the counter and simultaneously pulled a ski mask down over his face and stuck a gun at my chest. And to me, the most interesting thing about this story was what my physical reaction was at being ripped from a sense of total safety to having just the twitch of a finger standing between me and a bullet slamming into my chest. There was just this tremendous ringing in my ears. I mean, literally a ringing in my ears at the shock of this. And my vision just started turning black and just focused right on that man and his gun. I mean, it was just incredible, the shock, and then my physical reaction. Well, I guess one thing I learned about myself during this is that I don't lose my thought process when I'm in a bad situation, because I told myself, don't move too fast. I don't even remember if he said, this is a holdup. I mean, I kind of got the context clue. I don't even think he said anything. But I started walking towards the cash register, and I told myself, move slowly. Don't do anything that's going to make him more nervous, because I felt that the calmer he was, the less chance he was going to pull that trigger. And so I really wanted to stay calm. I wanted to make all my moves very slow and predictable from his point of view. So I walked up to the counter, hit the knob that opened the cash register door, ring, 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 out comes the cash register drawer. So I pick up the fives, the ones, the fives, the tens. I said, he said, what's underneath? And I thought, what's underneath? Does he know about that pickle jar where I put 20s that's underneath the counter? Not that I would have minded giving him a bunch of 20s, to improve my chance of survival. But I was nervous even about bending down below the counter where he might think I'm getting a pistol or something, to get that pickle jar. As I was processing that issue, I said, oh, he means what's underneath the cash drawer. You know how you pick up the cash drawer and there are checks and 20s underneath the cash drawer, under the tray that's in the cash drawer. And sure enough, that's what he was talking about. So I picked up that cash drawer, and there were 3 20s there. And I was so glad to see those 20s, because again, I figured if there were no 20s, he's going to think, what do you mean you don't have any 20s here in the store? And he might get angry and more aggressive with me. So I got those 20s. I could see that he liked that. Then I started offering him things. I was trying to help that man have a successful robbery, truly. These John Wayne things where you try to, you try to take the robber down. That wasn't me. I wanted him to be successful and get out of my life. So I got the 20s. I said, do you want the checks? No, he didn't want the checks. There were a bunch of food stamps. Do you want the food stamps? Yeah, he took the food stamps. So I gave him 3 20s, and handful of food stamps. I said, do you want this in a brown paper bag? I mean, I was really working to do a good job here. And
Yes.
I wasn't trying to be funny by offering him all this stuff. I was trying to make him satisfied. He didn't want a brown paper bag. The reason I said brown paper bag so that, you know, he could conceal all that stuff when he walks out the door and it doesn't look funny. But he didn't want the brown paper bag, so he took the money and the food stamps. And I thought, okay, now he's going to walk out that door, and I'm going to have a great story to tell for the rest of my life. But it didn't turn out that way either. He didn't walk out the door. He said, what's in that back room there? Oh man. In an instant, I thought of, all the movies I've seen or TV programs or stories I've read where gunmen take you back to the back room and make you lie down and shoot you in the back of the head or something. Oh man, the drama level went up considerably. So I walk out from behind the counter, and he falls in behind me. And then I just waited to see what was going to happen next. It wasn't a pleasant moment. But he says, all right, you stay here, and I'm going to leave. You stay here for, I don't know if he said 10 minutes or for a long time or what, but something to that effect. He says, don't worry, I'll stay here. Well, the minute he walked back into the store, I peeked through the door into the store, and the minute I saw him walk out the front door, I started to go out. There was a side door that he didn't see. I rushed back into the store. Back in those days, they had rotary dials. I don't know if you remember rotary dials. I'm sure you do. Call the police. They had no 911 at that time, but I'd dial the number and I'd try to force the rotary wheel back faster, but you can't. They're going to go back. They're going to go back at their own speed. Seems like it took forever to dial the number. Today's boom, 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 911 is really convenient. I finally got the police on the line and told them what was happening or what had happened. And in no time, they had police there. And that was basically the end of the story. They never caught him. They took me to a lineup once at the police department, but I couldn't recognize anybody in that lineup. And that was the end of the story. And I lived to be able to tell more stories.